Alright, so we're going to be looking at Clorinde's story quest. I've actually been trying to do a bunch of other stuff before I could do it, which is why I didn't do it when it was released. So, yeah, let's go look at that. Drink water in the middle of the moonlight. Yeah, that's hype. Okay, should have went over here. I don't have her yet, though. I've been trying to get her, but no luck. Sometimes story quests are interesting, and then sometimes they're not. It kind of really all depends.
Huh? Do you also see Navia and Clorinde over there?
See Navia? I
They
can't.
look
I
like they
barely
might have
see
run
her.
into some kind of trouble. Let's go check out what's going on.
So two people just standing next to a light simulates trouble. Okay. Okay, now it's suddenly daytime.
Still no dice?
She's going to pass out.
Not at all. And I've asked pretty much everyone in the court of Fontaine already.
Did she lose something?
Lynette's ears drooped as soon as she heard that we'd have to be out and about for days on end. And Fremine, he hid himself under his helmet as soon as he realized there'd be people around that he didn't know.
Oh yeah. I remember her story quest having to do with, well, the only people I remember seeing on the cover for it, it was her, Navia, Farina, and Lenny.
What about Chiori and Charlotte? I feel like both of them would be more than up to it.
It's funny how people keep making fun of Clorinde because of her breast size. They keep saying that her buttons are barely holding her shirt together, and there's like this guy who made like an MMD of like Ether telling, which is funny, because it was Xiao's Japanese voice actor, like that's where they got the audio from, and they put it over Ether's model, and he was like, your breasts are too big. Therefore, I'm not interested in you, goodbye, or something like that. And it was like her, like, freaking out, staring down at her chest, really confused, because he was, like, eliminating her. It's a funny thing that I saw. I know that doesn't make any sense the way I explained it, but it's a lot funnier than it looks, than it sounds.
I've asked them already, but they're both pretty busy right now. I just gave the members of the Spina a few days off, too, so I don't want to bother them either.
I've always liked water, not even in just, like, real life, but in games. Like, water, in its sense, calms me down. When I was a child, the only way they could get me to calm down was to put me at this thing called a water table, where it was like a table that had water in it, and you could play with, like, toys and stuff. It was the only thing that could calm me down when I was out of control or frustrated or upset. I just noticed that there's, like, a puppet-looking kind of doll thing on the upper right of the screen on that building that looks like it's staring at me, and it's kind of freaking me out.
This is getting pretty difficult.
I was also gonna say that that water looked great, kinda wanted to go play in it.
Navia, Clorinde, what's up?
How is it, friends? Eat my low-textured flowers.
Oh my. Well, if it isn't my dear partners, how are you all doing?
Like how you waved to Paimon and not me. Technically, she waved at the ground from this angle.
Huh. Navia.
I had an idea. Why don't we just make them do everything? Ha 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 ha.
Oh, you mean...
So there's like this thing going around that Navia's voice actress is actually married to Boot Hill's voice actor from Honkai Star Rail, and everybody's losing their shit.
Yep, this is our chance.
Oh god, don't look at me like that. What are you going to do?
Do you need our help with something?
Does I capture her quickly? She fucking pulls out a fucking pillow sack.
Oh, precisely. My dear partners, we've got a huge problem right now that only you can solve.
Don't point at me like that.
Whoa, for real?
I also just realized that Navia only has one glove on her hand, and I've never noticed that. I always thought she had both hands covered.
Absolutely. We've already exhausted all our other options.
What kind of a problem?
Traveler, Paimon, would you join us and play Mars Shosei Hunter Judgment Day?
What is with her glove, though? It's like a low textured. Is it supposed to be like a lace pattern that's going over the palm of her hand? But it kind of looks funny.
Mara, she'll say what now?
The look on Paimon's face.
It's a new game script by the Tabletop Troupe, a local roleplay adventure club.
Oh my god, what's happening?
Ever heard of the Tabletop Troupe? They put out games that allow you to participate in a story and roleplay characters with your friends. Oh, I've loved their stuff ever since I was a kid.
This is getting awkward. I also like how that vine kind of goes to a cut where it looks like there should be a flower there, but there isn't.
That sounds super interesting.
Oh my god.
Clorinde and I are both veteran members of the club. Recently, someone came up with a new script and was looking for people to help playtest it for them. And when they asked, of course I couldn't refuse. I mean, come on, a brand new script? Nobody has ever played it before.
Generally speaking, scripts at that level of development have a lot of issues, but I think this one is pretty solid. The author obviously put a lot of work into the story, and the world building is also quite credible.
Okay.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I know I was the one that handed you the script, but some of us haven't read it yet. No spoilers, please.
No, spoil everything right now.
Anyway, the script calls for a team of 4. Ah, yes. We're missing one final player right now.
And you were right. That is a big problem.
So, you're saying you'll help us out? I knew I could count on you, partner.
I don't even know what we're gonna be doing, but normally in story quests, they don't require you to really do anything. It's usually just like listen to characters talk. Sometimes you'll run around and do a thing or fight some things, but you don't really do anything else other than that, so...
Paimon and the Traveler are kind of a package deal. Is that okay?
That's not a problem. I'll adjust the pace based on the actual number of players, and ensure that everyone has a good time.
Well, Traveler, what do you think? Wanna play? Paimon will follow your lead.
I always help a friend in need.
Well, that solves our problem. You have our thanks.
I'll go grab the script manager from the club right away.
The script manager? Didn't you just say that you gave Clorinde the script?
The club introduced a completely new kind of gameplay for the script. In this iteration, the Game Master's version of the script is incomplete. The script manager provides the next part of the script only after players have completed the current list of objectives. On top of that, in order to increase player immersion, the club has created some of the story's sets and scenes in real life. We'll only know where we should go once the script manager reveals the starting location.
Wow, you're right. Whoever wrote this script really did put in a lot of work.
I like how Paimon's interjecting a lot, and Lumion is just staring like she's in a dream world. She's like blankly staring ahead like she hears nothing that's happening right now.
And it's got a real healthy amount of suspense, right? I mean, even the GM doesn't know how the story will end.
I look forward to experiencing it with you all.
Oh, this was awkward. She's like, I'm the strongest duelist in all of Fontaine, but I'm gonna spend my time role-playing a character in the middle of the street.
Why don't you go meet up with the others first? They should all be waiting at Chiorio Boutique. I'll come over with the script manager as soon as I find them.
Isn't it supposed to be Liddy and Farin?
Sounds good. Remember to always watch where you're going, and don't rush.
Rushing about is all I love to do.
You say that like I'm 6 years old or something.
How old are you? I was going through character ages on this thing, and it was kind of awkward to me because they were trying to say that Kazuha was like 19, but based on the thing I saw, they actually said that he's between 25 and 27, which kind of does make more sense. But a lot of the characters' ages were not what I thought they were. Like, they were trying to say that Xiangling was like 14, but then it said 14-16, like she could be either or. And they had did that for a lot of the characters, and I was like, do they even really know what their ages are? Like, huh?
Let me think. What kind of character should I play this time?
Damsel in distress.
I just hope you'll pick up some useful skills this time. Oh, and stop trying to persuade every animal you come across.
Oh my god, was she turning into like Snow White or something? Holy, don't wanna do that. Yeah! I love the way he fucking holds this bow. Holy shit. I like the sound it makes. Alright. Hold on a second. He made the exact same fucking sound I did. Just... Winnie. Did he? It was him sitting down when I got closer. That looked fucking awkward for a moment. I told you it was them.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Ah, you're back! Huh? And you've got the Traveler and Paimon with you too!
The reason why it looked awkward because it was like Linny and Farina standing next to each other, but when I got close, they like automatically sat down, and it looked like he like went. She like disappeared, and he was like going down. And I was like, oh no, please no.
What a pleasant surprise! I assume you'll be joining us for the game then?
Because everybody's losing their shit. Cause there's like another MMD of like, Farina talking to Nebulette, and she's like standing directly in front of his chair when he's talking, but it looks wrong from the way the person animated it. So he's like, I hope you aren't using this as an excuse to, and then he gets cut off because she starts going down, but she actually goes down and crawls under his desk backwards and then stands up on the other side of it like she was running away. But everybody was losing their shit. Every comment was like, I must have a dirty mind. Did everybody freak out when they seen her going down? Because she was like directly in front of his legs, like in front of him when he was sitting in a chair, and she started going down on her knees. And I also thought the same thing as well. But it was actually her going down to crawl under the desk, not what you thought. And I lost my fucking mind.
Linny, Farina! Paimon didn't know you were playing too! Are you also members of the Tabletop Troupe?
I think I kind of like the canon idea that everybody's going with nowadays, that Nebulette is treating Farina more like a daughter. And I think it's cuter to think of it that way, not as a ship pairing. Hi, friends.
I'm more of a casual member, if anything.
Of course you
I
are.
haven't taken part in many formal club activities. Lynette Fremine and I play something similar at the Hotel Bouffe Tété sometimes, but I'm usually the GM.
You're the general manager.
Still, I'm sure it'll be fun being a player for the first time. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh my god.
Well, I'm not a member of the club at all. Clorinde simply woke me up first thing this morning, said there was a good script worth experiencing, and asked if I wanted in.
And because you're like the star of like the stage play nonsense, you're like, I can't resist.
If you're interested, I can give you a referral. That should give you a 40% discount on membership fees.
I think I'll wait to see how this experience plays out first, especially when it comes to the quality of the script. If it's sufficiently fun, then I'll join.
Do you participate in a lot of Tabletop Troupe activities, Clorinde?
You could say that. She's actually one of the few senior game masters of the troupe.
Ah, right. I knew about that even when she was still my subordinate.
It's nothing. Really, just a small hobby of mine.
Wow. Paimon's so used to seeing you be all upstanding and intimidating as the champion duelist. It's kind of hard to imagine you role-playing with a bunch of friends.
So, if we have a problem with any of the rules, do we have to submit a duel request to you? What? What am I asking her? I don't understand. What is this question? What is this question? So if we have a problem with any of the rules, do we... Because these are continuations. Like, if I have a problem, do I have to fight you? Do we have to submit a duel request to you?
Surely you jest. I would never intentionally make things difficult for my players. I maintain a clear boundary between my professional and personal lives. The me you see at court represents the law and order of Fontaine. I put all personal feelings to the side, and grant a fair duel to all who seek to defend their honor.
Did you ever fight Child, though? He said he was gonna fight you. Whatever happened with that? Like, I can't remember.
But in my personal life, I'm just an ordinary person. Someone who feels anger and sadness, just like everyone else.
True.
Well, you say that, but for all the time I've known you, I don't think I've ever seen you cry. I've seen you get angry, sure, but now I'm wondering whether you were actually mad or if it just looked that way from the outside.
True. Sometimes people look mad, but they're really not. They have, like, resting bitch face. Sometimes people think I'm mad, too, but I'm actually, like, upset or just stressed out or tired, and I'm like, no.
I was probably in work mode during those times.
Work mode, busting the buttons on my shirt.
Is that so? Well, in any case, I just feel like even in your personal life, you don't get emotional very often.
So you want to see me cry? That might be a little difficult. A show of anger, though.
Do you really
might be
want to
something I
make
could
me
accomplish.
cry? That's what that makes me think of.
No, that's not what I meant.
She's like, do you really want to see me cry? And then Boy George just starts playing in the background. Like how that Gardamek reappeared and disappeared. Okay.
I'm back. Here, allow me to introduce you to the script manager, Mr.
Karina has the
Florian.
smallest feet out of everybody in this scene, except for Paimon, but she doesn't count. But like her feet is significantly smaller than everybody else's.
Pleasure to meet you all.
I feel like your voice is familiar.
Hello? Wait, are you champion duelist too, Mr. Florian?
Oh, no. This is just the costume provided by the club. I occasionally play a few of the roles in my scripts.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It's nothing. It's the least we can do to give the players a more immersive experience.
He has a unique eye color that matches the flowers, and it's kind of weird. I feel like they did that on purpose.
Anyway, allow me to give you a brief introduction of the script. This script was adapted from the real history of the Marushose hunters. You all will play the role of hunters from a bygone era and resolve a series of events unfolding in the capital.
Paimon's not super familiar with the history of the Marachose hunters. Is that a problem?
Oh, no problem at all. I can give you a brief rundown. So, basically, Marushose hunters were people who dedicate themselves to hunting monsters and protecting the city by using a special swordsmanship technique passed down over generations.
God, what are we turning into Inazumans? We're turning into the Ishin style art like Kazuha?
Their story can be traced back to the ancient Lemurian dynasty, as well as the first hunter, Cassiodor.
Oh no, I know that dude.
But I'll leave the finer details for you to seek out and discover later.
He was the guy in the main quest that I did, a world quest. But he was like the talking cat. I think that's what his name was.
Mm-hmm. And I'll provide additional commentary as the story progresses.
In that case, brave hunters, are you ready to set out on an unknown adventure?
This is weird. We're just role playing with our friends in the street.
Oh, just one sentence and it's like we're in the story already!
That lady's just staring like, huh?
Aha! I see many a determined gaze before me. Very well. Head over to this location and begin your heroic journey.
So, as we follow the story, it leads us to specific scenes? Ooh, sounds pretty innovative. What does the message in the envelope say?
It's the exact location of the scene, as well as the formal permission to use the venue. Seems like they have everything prepared. Please check all your belongings, everyone, and make sure you haven't forgotten anything. Once you're ready, please follow me to the designated location.
Yeah, I think she's getting a little too excited.
Sounds good. Hunter Squad, move out!
That fucking flat clapping just now. It's gonna take us forever. He's so angry about it. He's, oh my god.
Relax.
No. Dude, relaxing is like the one thing I can't do. Asking me to relax is like asking me to go bungee jumping off a bridge. Not gonna happen. Well, I could have gotten him to 90, but I had used all my stuff and all my money to ascend him to 70 right away, so I couldn't work on Scar. It's fine. I always make room for the newer characters. I've had Scar for a while now, so had him for almost a year. Christmas of this year will make it a year, or no? It was 2022. Yes. Good moan breathing in my fucking ear. 2 years actually. Don't notice me. I'm still working on him. He's not like super strong yet, so I mean, I can fight things. It's not like out of the world hard, but woo! This has got to be awkward. They like go around and role play stuff with your friends. Oh, he's touching the boundary level. It's gonna freak the shit out. Hit it. Yeah.
really have thought of everything. Even the phaetometer is here and ready to go for us.
I like the steamedness, so has Lynette been here?
The phaetometer. What's that?
It's a thing that Lynette made, or actually, I think she said Linny made it. You draw cards out of it to test your fate.
It's a card that's used to determine action success or failure. We'll need to use it when we try to use certain skills.
Yeah, I just said that.
And what about all the dessert and tea? Is that for us as well?
That's what the message said.
Who just puts a bunch of food out on a beach in hopes that they'll get there in time before it gets eaten by, like, passerbys or enemies, and then it's out directly in the sun near all this moisture from the water? Oh my god.
Really? That's so nice. It feels just like a tea party with friends.
But that cake is getting baked.
Those snacks have Paimon's name written all over them.
Please don't fight over the food. That's ridiculous.
I think you might be more of a snack hunter than a Marachose hunter, Paimon.
Fucking burn.
Snack Hunter Paimon reported for duty. If there are delicious snacks to be found, Paimon will track down every last one.
Oh my god.
The desserts are great. But I'm still looking forward to the story more than anything.
But I thought you normally had like a massive sweet tooth. She literally has an animation of her sitting on a slime and looking at cake.
Very fair. Then, let us begin.
Alright.
First, please pick up the blank character cards in front of you, and write down your name and profession.
But what is my profession? Adventurer?
You can find an abbreviated version of the rules printed on the back of your character card. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. In this story, everyone is a Marachose hunter. To reflect this, the club has prepared a small badge for everyone.
Oh.
Ooh, nice.
It's cute.
As hunters, you have proficiency in swordsmanship and fighting by default, so there's no need to allocate any additional skill points to those areas.
I like how everybody here doesn't use a sword, though. 3 of the 5 only use swords because... Well, actually, they all use swords except for Lenny. He's a bow character. That crab freaking out back there doing a little slow dance against the rock. What the shit is that? It's like, let me stretch my legs. No, she's a claymore, Navia. But most of the time she fights with like a parasol, so what does it even matter? Parasol is like an umbrella.
Swordsmanship? So there's a fighting part to all this? Paimon's not sure she can do all that on her own. Maybe Paimon can just stick with you?
She just picture her groping the side of her head, like, I can't fight, therefore I will clutch onto you like a small child.
Why don't you share a character card then? The Traveler will be the Marachose hunter, and you can be her little floating assistant.
Well, she kind of already is that, isn't she?
Huh. Kinda like in real life.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So, for the name, do I fill it out with the name of my character?
Or my real name.
Yep. It can be any name you like.
You can use your real name too if you want. I do that whenever I get too lazy to think of a new name.
Oh, so it would be like experiencing a different life, but still as yourself. That's not a bad idea.
But you had already done that. That's really touching a little too close to home because she was supposed to be pretending to be the Hydra Archon even though she really wasn't. She's like a clone of Focalors, basically. She's the human side of Focalors that she cut away from her divinity. She basically split herself in half.
In that case, I think I'll continue to use the name Linny then.
Don't stare at me like that.
Next up is the skill sheet. You have a limited amount of skill points that you can use to learn a number of skills. The more points you invest in a particular skill, the easier it will be to pass associated checks.
I'll take persuasion and investigation. Those are must-haves when it comes to missions like these.
Are we allowed to just be telling each other what we're picking?
Oh, those skills sound like they'd be useful for gathering intelligence. Good idea, Nadia. Just as expected of a veteran player.
So, should we also take those skills then?
Not necessarily. Since we're working together as a team, we could leave the negotiations to Navia and use our skill points to pick up other useful skills. For example, I think I'll take stealth and sleight of hand. That will give us more options if we run into any situations we can't negotiate our way out of.
Well, it just seems like you're just picking stuff based on what you actually really do and are, literally.
Oh, interesting. I wasn't thinking about it like that. I suppose it's not so different from an acting troupe. Everyone has their own role to play. Let me see. I'll take arts and performance. I'm not quite sure what yours will be, but I'm not as knowledgeable about the other skills, and I am not too confident I'd be able to roleplay them well.
She sounds like she's dying.
Well, that leaves us. What do you want to learn, Traveler?
Cooking, medicine, insight. I feel like they threw cooking as a top option because I'm already good at cooking, and you need somebody to cook for your team. But you also need healer, and insight's pretty good. I'm currently Hydra, which she does have healing. I can throw my orbs to heal other characters. So that's like cooking in 2. That's like both in 1. Insight, so I know things. Man, this is hard. In real life, I'm not too good at cooking. I'm not really all that skilled in medicine. I know some things, but I usually am better at learning things. But I feel like these top 2 are important. What I'm looking at it like this is like I already kind of have healing as default. Why would I need it again?
Oh, something that'll help you get a read on other people's thoughts. Sounds useful. Ooh, so you want to help people when they're injured. That's nice of you. So what do you think? Are you sure you want to learn these 2 skills?
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, looks like you each have enough points to choose one final skill.
You've all picked such classic skills. It's fine to go a little bit out of the box, you know.
Why do I get the feeling she's getting ready to cause trouble?
For example, this one here. Summon. Doesn't it sound super mysterious and cool?
Yes, I'm gonna summon Eidolon. Hold on a minute.
Oh, I saw that one just now as well. The description says, this skill can be used under certain circumstances to summon characters or creatures that fit the script's world-building rules.
The script's world-building rules, huh? But how are we supposed to know what a Marashose hunter can summon?
I'm gonna summon like a giant phoenix right now.
Oh, that's not for us to worry about, my friend. Just learn the skills that interest you, and the GM will take care of the rest.
Alright, you've convinced Paimon. Let's learn summon then. Paimon can't wait to see what kind of thing shows up.
I'm gonna just summon like my brother from the darkness.
Well, now that everyone's more or less finished creating their characters, we can begin.
I just slap a damn water symbol on the table and I'm like, I summon child! And he literally appears.
Since 2 of our players are doing this for the first time, though, let me ask. Would you like to play on easy mode or authentic mode?
What's the difference between the 2?
Well, in role-playing games, the story sometimes changes based on the decisions of the players and the results of the Fatometer. For example, if you fail a check, that means you cannot use the target skill in that scenario. A critical failure may even result in further negative consequences. If you choose to play in authentic mode, every time you elect to use a skill, you'll need to use the Fatometer to see whether you succeed or fail, and face any consequences that may follow. If you choose easy mode instead, every check will be successful by default, and you won't have to worry about luck playing a factor.
Yeah. The random checks triggered by the Fatometer often serve as indicators for Destiny's course of the success or failure of an action. Okay, press the other card at random numbers. Already done this before. It's between 1 and 20. This is something you got during Lynette's hangout event, and I already know how it works, but there was one time where I think it's rigged where you have to fail one of her endings like 4 times to get it. And it sometimes I would either get a higher number or a lower number than what I needed, and it's not always guaranteed. So between 1 and 20, if the number displayed is greater than or equal to the check difficulty, you will pass the check, otherwise you will fail it. Yep. So players role-playing in the scene in the story can sometimes affect the result of checks. Your current check bonuses will be added to your randomly drawn number, making it easier to pass checks. In easy mode, all checks are considered successful by default. What that kind of means is like there's certain characters that already have a certain number, and then when you draw a card, it just adds that number to their number that they already have. So Farina already has like 10, she has 10 by default, and then I draw a card that happens to be 6. That's why it becomes 16.
Given that I'd like to focus on the story, I suppose I should pick easy mode. I'd feel bad if I brought the team down by failing my checks.
Huh? Oh, come on. Don't worry about that. RNG is the lifeblood of role-playing games. I'm going with authentic mode for sure.
Every time I hear RNG, I just think of like Neo, Dark Souls, Elden Ring, and I start losing my shit.
Never knowing what you might have to overcome. Ugh, doesn't that sound exciting?
Nah, it depends.
I'd rather be mentally prepared for what might happen.
All right, then I'll mark down Farina for easy mode. All her checks will be successful by default. As usual, Navia and Linny will play on authentic mode.
What about you, dear partner? How would you like to play?
I like to leave things up to fate. I'll also choose authentic. It's not because Linny is doing it or anything.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Trust me, you'll see the beauty of RNG.
Dying inside.
Honestly, I don't think Clorinde would make things too difficult for us, no matter what the Fatometer says. Isn't that right, Clorinde?
This is where you're about to be proven wrong.
No promises.
That wasn't super reassuring.
Well, anyway, enough talk. Let's get started. I want to experience at least a good chunk of the story today.
Speaking of the story, why is the beginning scene on a beach?
Because people love beaches.
Well, that's because a long time
Wow.
ago, back when human civilization was still in its infancy, powerful demons and evil sorcerers ruled over the land. They created a host of monsters and sent them to slaughter all humans in existence.
I feel like they did this on purpose. They're like, let's make it feel like an actual different game with the little boxes. God, that was surprising. It's cute though, I like it. Because it does remind me of other games that I play that are exactly like this, so.
Soon, a group of human rebels banded together. With their swords raised, they swore to brave the darkness, and in doing so, subdue each and every monster that sought their destruction. They became known as the Marechaussee Hunters.
Played by Clan Kid. Oh my god. That's the loading screen when you get loaded into a dungeon. Am I gonna actually have to fight stuff? I bet you it is, isn't it? I just noticed that that's a little throne. Every time I see thrones, I just picture Zhongli. So, because you need 4 characters to play, that's why we needed 4. So I wonder if those are going to be my player characters by default. It's going to be me, Farina, Linny, and Navia, because obviously Clorinde is the game master. That's actually a song. That's why I was losing my shit. What is this?
Sometime later, as a member of the Marechaussee Hunters, you receive a commission. Following the address provided on the message, you take a boat and arrive at this strange city. As you inhale, you can taste the slightly salty air of the docks as you begin to survey your surroundings. There aren't many people in the vicinity, but you do take note of a few others who, like you, seem to be sizing up this place.
I think we're in Mondstadt. Wait, has Linny and Navi ever been here? Or any of the Fontaine characters, really? Have they ever been in Mondstadt before? 'Cause I think it is kind of awkward how I have other characters in my team, but like the characters I own, but they've never actually met each other. And it kind of makes me wonder, because you get like your character companionship level, and it goes up by having that character with you, but I'm curious as to, when you put other characters from other nations together that actually haven't met in the game story, do they really know each other then? Because it's like, what the hell?
Your eyes meet, and you realize these people are fellow Marechaussee Hunters, likely led to this location after receiving the same commission as you.
You're all Marechaussee Hunters too, right? Allow me to introduce myself. The name's Navia, monster hunter by trade and helpful neighborhood businesswoman on the side.
I like their portraits, they're cute.
What say you to traveling together? We can help each other out on the road.
Okay, count me in.
Why is his so different than what you think it would be? I like the idea that they made little sprites for them and made it different than their actual default designs, but every time Hoyo does this, people expect them to make those designs in the game, and it kind of like ruins it, because you get those people that are like, oh no, how come they don't make that an actual outfit, this is bullshit. And it's like, you know what, sometimes they just want to have things for fun, because there's too many characters in this game as it is, and when you design one specific outfit for a character, people expect that to be for all characters, and people don't realize that when you have this many characters in a game, trying to design outfits for each of them that fit that character based on their personality and actual gameplay and design, it's a lot harder than it seems. Like, if they gave me a piece of paper and said, hey, remake outfit designs for all characters in Genshin, I wouldn't even know what to do. Some characters I could have no problem. I'd be like, oh, okay, I can think of something. But then there's other characters where I'm just like, what? I'd be lost.
My name is Linny. I've been wandering since I was little and picked up a few less than legal tricks along the way.
That's true.
I was adopted by a Marashose hunter and later chose to follow in his footsteps.
You're staring into my soul.
Is this where you introduce your character to everyone? It sounds like they've done this dozens of times.
Oh no, nervousness is striking her.
My name is Verena, and, I grew up in a noble family. I always had a strong interest in performance and the arts. Even though I'm a Marchese hunter, what I really want is to be a performing artiste.
Her design is kind of weird, because it's kind of like all over the place. It looks like she's like a court jester instead of an actual like musician or an actress. But then again, that is quite fitting.
Hey, that's really cool. You can do it, Verena. That's exactly how it's done.
I'm dying inside.
My name is Paimon, a good friend and companion to this Marashose hunter out here.
Her sprite's cute. Very, very fitting.
I've been studying medicine ever since I was a child. I want to do my part to eradicate these monsters and use what I've learned to heal others.
Yeah, I'm so doctorish. Look at my damn syringe. That's like the most dangerous fucking thing to be waving around.
Oh, welcome. When we face the monsters, I'll make sure to charge in front to give everyone some cover. You can take care of the healing at the back.
Uh-huh.
You open your envelopes at the same time. The message reads,
Prepare to die.
to the honorable and trustworthy Marashose hunters, our kingdom is currently facing a grave crisis. The lands outside the capital have been overtaken by monsters, and our people are being led astray by forces of wickedness. We beseech you, please help us resolve this crisis and return peace and stability to our home.
So if this is supposed to be like us acting and they have all these places set up, like, do they really have things that we're going to be fighting, I wonder?
Huh. The layout of this city looks super familiar.
It's monster.
It kind of reminds Paimon of Mondstadt.
Okay. Are we really here, though? I think we are, right? Because even though we're role-playing, like, they really want us to do this, like, are really acting it out. So I think we really did take a boat from Fontaine to Mondstadt, and I'm just thinking about how far that really is. And I'm like, holy shit, did we really do that?
The scriptwriter must have used a real-world city as a reference when coming up with the map.
Did she disappear?
As experienced hunters, the layout of the city reminds you of places once traveled. You recall the sight of tree-lined streets and the gentle tranquility of days gone by.
Why are her eyes so big?
Yet, as you regard the city in front of you, it appears to be little more than an empty shell. Its hollow gates are open to you, beckoning you to come forth and bring salvation back to the town.
So, this is what I'm curious about, because Mondstadt's a real place, and the people inside probably don't know that we're role-playing out here. And I'm too famous here. Everybody knows me. So I wonder if we're going to be running into other people that are going to interrupt this, or if it's going to be isolated. You know what I'm saying?
I carefully read every line of the letter and turn my attention to the signatures at the bottom. Who issued this commission to us?
You see a long string of unfamiliar names. It would seem that many of the residents of the city issued this commission together. They sensed that things were not right within the kingdom, and sent a distress signal to the outside world.
I like how she just appears behind people.
In that case, why don't we take a walk around the city and see if we can learn anything from the local residents?
I'm curious.
Oh, good idea. We might be able to get some leads on the monsters and bad guys we're after.
See, this is what I'm worried about. I know we're like role-playing a thing, but if we're really here in Mondstadt, what if I run into people who know me and they don't realize I'm role-playing a thing and they interject?
You
Door of
look
resurrection
up
activated.
and see a tavern nearby. It appears to be open for the day.
Oh god, it's Angel's share. D-Luke knows me. I can't do this.
Why don't we go check out that tavern? If the novels I've read are anything to go by, taverns are usually full of information.
Oh yeah, so the way you could tell if you're locked into a certain place, you see the map, you see how it's like red, and they won't let you leave it? On the upper left? It's like you can only walk around in a certain area. They did isolate it. That's what I was worried about. Alright.
As you approach the tavern, you find a plainly dressed woman standing nearby. She appears to be rather troubled about something.
So if I ever stop, it's because I want her to finish reading. Sometimes I go too fast and it cuts them off. I've had it do this to me before.
Greetings, friend. Lovely weather we're having today, don't you think?
So is this supposed to be like this woman is being played by Clorinde or not? That was that transition.
Oh, hello. I suppose you're right.
It is.
The weather today is quite lovely. If only those monsters out there would stop causing trouble.
I know what they're doing. So what it is it's really Clorinde playing this part, but to us it's supposed to look like it's a different woman. I get it. Okay.
It seems like every character included in the script has a certain amount of useful information to offer. If we keep asking questions, we might be able to get some good leads.
Yeah, so she does have a split personality thing, so you will see this with Farina quite a bit.
Oh, come now, don't be sad. Life is all about optimism. Oh, that reminds me. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
A chicken ranch hot pocket from Walmart, if you want to know. That's what I had this morning.
Huh?
Chicken bacon ranch?
I don't think that's the kind of question we're supposed to ask.
I'm melting in my sorrow.
Nothing turns a frown upside down like good food. How about some macarons? I could make you some.
You didn't even take cooking as one of your skill proficiencies.
Yeah, she is breaking the rules of the game, but I feel like she's doing this on purpose.
That's not necessary, miss. Excuse me for saying this, but you don't really look like a chef. Besides, I'm not really a fan of sweets.
God, she was so burnt down, so hard.
So you're someone who barely smiles and doesn't like sweets. You're really starting to remind me of this one friend of mine.
That's a direct jab at her.
Hey, did she just... me?
Clorinde must have broke character for a second.
This isn't getting us anywhere. Traveler, maybe you can think of something.
I'd like to do an insight check to see what's troubling her. Any help here, Lenny? Dude, insight's my fucking skill.
The results of insight checks aren't disclosed to the players, so I'll be the one consulting the phaetometer.
Oh god. Did I get it right, though?
You recall all the lessons you've learned in your time, and begin to carefully observe the woman's mannerisms.
I must have. I think when it turns gold, you get it. I wonder, other people that have played this, if you pick the same thing as me and you chose the card, did you fail first at the beginning, or is that not how this plays out? Because sometimes I can't tell if these are actually rigged, like it's programmed this way or not. I'm curious now.
You notice that when she's quiet, she has an empty look in her eyes. as if her thoughts have drifted to a place far, far away. And when she speaks, she often subconsciously reaches out to touch the ring on her left hand.
Did something happen to your husband?
So you noticed. That's a little embarrassing.
Hatsukashi no desu.
A horde of monsters suddenly appeared near the capital recently, so all the guards were dispatched to fight them.
And your husband died, I'm still guessing.
Do you remember when those monsters appeared?
Oh, you know, like yesterday.
I'm not completely sure. All I know is that my husband was dispatched to fight them 3 days ago.
I was gonna say 3 days ago.
Do you know where he was sent?
It all happened so fast. When we said our goodbyes, he couldn't even tell me where they were sending him.
You have our thanks, friend. We'll find and defeat those monsters as soon as possible. We sincerely hope your husband will be able to return to your side soon.
Thank you.
Don't worry. We'll find him. Just try to remain optimistic and wait for good news. We don't always get to choose what happens to us. But we do get to choose the little things, like what we eat and how we respond to the things life throws our way. I hope that one day, you too will recognize the power of something as small and inconsequential as a delicious dessert.
I feel like she's throwing this line directly at Clorinde because she doesn't eat sweets, so it's like her using this as a leverage to throw that in her face.
I'll do my best. You bid farewell to the woman, and continue your journey further into the city.
Resurrection. But I didn't die, though. Why'd they activate the freaking resurrection gate? That's usually when you're fighting things in a dungeon to switch out your characters. I obviously can't do that right now, but maybe it's to switch the order of your default team that we have here. But
As you venture further into the city,
I like it as it is.
The streets appear largely empty. An elderly woman walks past. You see her shake her head as she puts away her wrinkled wallet. A nearby merchant folds his arms and gives you a disdainful look. You get the impression that he's someone who has long gotten used to the sight before him.
Oh, my auto skip. That look on his face.
Although he doesn't seem very friendly, merchants are usually a good source of information, right?
Pardon me, sir. I'd like to ask a question if I may.
That depends. How much are you willing to pay?
Oh god, Clorinde, that voice.
How about this much?
What do you take me for? Some lowly beggar? You can't even buy half an onion with that amount.
Surely an onion can't be that expensive, right?
It's like $50.
What do you know? War's nearly upon us. Everything costs several times what it did before. If you're not gonna buy anything, then scram.
Oh, what a nasty guy. Maybe we shouldn't even bother talking to him.
But he still might have information we need. Traveler, can you think of something?
Persuade him, Navia. Lenny, you're up. For Frina, put on a performance. I'm trying to remember all the skill things they chose. She was like information person, as where Farina's like performance. Lenny was stealth. That ain't gonna help us here. I have to remember what their characters are in the story, not like what their real abilities are. I just need to remember one of their points. Sometimes when I play these, my ADHD acts up and I get distracted and I forget what the hell I'm doing. Because she was like, intelligence, right? And he was stealth, and Farina's easy because hers is naturally performance. That's what she is by default. She did take persuasion, right? Persuade him, Navia.
Sir, we came to the city to solve the very problem you seem to be referring to. The war you mentioned, would it happen to be against the monsters outside the city? If you happen to be well informed and know a thing or two about what's going on, we'd appreciate it if you could share that information with us. After all, the sooner this problem gets resolved, the easier it will be for you to do your business.
8. 18. I got it.
Well, things are basically as you said, young lady. Those monsters are camped outside the city, and they've been destroying all our trade routes. We have limited reserves within the city, so if this continues, we're all gonna be in big trouble.
Wait, you're saying no one has put a plan in place to distribute supplies or maintain order?
We could all starve, and those nobles in the palace wouldn't even break a sweat. Who knows? Maybe they've been in cahoots with the monsters all along.
That is concerning.
That's so deadpan. That is concerning, doesn't give a fuck.
Alright. That's all the information you need, right? Off with you now, I've still got business to do.
You know, if you smiled a little more, you'd definitely get more business. And I bet that would make your life just a little bit sweeter. I'm not saying it's guaranteed to work. It's just a tip.
It's gonna make a horrible joke, and I'm fucking glad I didn't. Explore the area, nearby area. Okay, well,
Shouldn't we go somewhere with more people?
Oh, how about the city square? Follow me.
So the Door of Resurrection activates, but I don't see it anywhere. It's supposed to be like a diamond-looking thing, and I don't actually see it, so I'm like, Dude, they got rid of my fountain. They killed my fountain. They massacred it.
Before you lies the city's central square. You see a man with a slightly anxious look on his face, pacing back and forth, his head hanging low.
If I stop, it's because I'm giving her time to talk. If I go too fast, I
He
think it
doesn't
cuts it.
seem to notice your approach. Still immersed in his own thoughts, he shakes his head and lets out a long sigh.
They really did change this for this. They got rid of the fountain and then they closed in the city. You know, I think it's funny when they do stuff like this in this game. Like, Mondstadt literally has a gate that they can close, but people like Lumion can climb up over the wall. But I'm just supposing that normal people can't do that. So it's kind of funny when you think about that in that sense.
This guy seems promising enough. Maybe I can get some information out of him.
Okay.
Hello, sir. Is there anything I can do to help you?
Wait, you're...
I'm...
Oh, dear goodness! You're a Marachose hunter!
Oh, Jesus.
You recognize us? Ah, are you one of the people who wrote the commission letter?
Yes! Oh, I didn't expect you to actually come! Oh, what great news! The city is saved!
I feel like this is just for Clorinde's voice actress to flex that she can change her voice multiple times. Because now she's starting to sound like Bennett / Venti kind of Xingqiu, young 15, 16-year-old boy. Well, Venti's not. He's like 2000 something. But you get my point.
What happened here?
Oh, you know. Darkness.
Alas, we once lived comfortable, carefree lives. This city used to be free of monsters. The first Marachose hunter, Casiodor, the Golden Hunter, he was the one who drove them back.
I feel like Lumion isn't saying anything about that name, and I don't think it's because she's probably not supposed to. But that was the guy from a world quest that we did. He was a real guy. He was the white cat.
However, monsters have once again surrounded the city. Perhaps the seal that kept them at bay has lost its power. Or perhaps an evil sorcerer has been meddling in our affairs. All I know for sure is that their return has stripped the city of any chance at peace.
Are there not enough soldiers to drive them out?
It's not a question of numbers. The guards simply have no idea how to deal with them. Most people my age have never even seen one of the monsters, much less been trained to fight against them. What's worse, many of us don't even know the history of the Marachose hunters anymore.
It's kind of funny because this voice does not fit this character, but I know what they're going for, but it's kind of funny.
When I was a child, though, my grandfather would tell me stories about how the Marachose hunters drove back the monsters. So, on the off chance that something might come of it, I decided to reach out to you. To be perfectly honest, I was starting to think all those stories were just tall tales. But now that I've seen you in person, I finally know that it was true.
Well, you can rest easy, friend. The righteous and formidable Marachose hunters are on the case.
Are we really, though?
The man is touched by your determination and resolve. His eyes begin to well with tears of relief.
Looks more like he's gonna pass out.
Still, if we are going to hunt the monsters, we need to know where to find them. Can you give us any leads?
All I know is that the area outside the city is dangerous. I'm afraid I can't point you toward a specific location. Oh, although, if you leave the capital through the main gate and follow the road, you should run into a group of guards. They might know more about where to find the monsters.
I see. We'll go look for them then.
Why was it squandering? What were her eyes? She's like doubtful this.
All right, be careful. Oh, and one last thing. The monsters outside the city are just part of the problem. There are evil sorcerers inside the city as well. So be on your guard. They're actively working with the monsters, and have corrupted the court ministers with malicious magic. They're the reason why, even inside the city, everything has been a giant mess. Even one of our kindest ministers has turned into a boorish and unreasonable figure, interested in nothing but enacting laws that exploit the people. Who knows how much longer we'll be able to go on like this.
Talk about being stuck between a rock and a hard place.
I feel bad for him. Maybe we should try to cheer him up?
I could cook something. I didn't choose cooking. I chose insight and medicine. Frina could sing a song for him.
Huh? Like, now? Is this really the right time?
I appreciate your kindness, but for now, it's more important to focus on the crisis at hand. Brave hunters, I leave the future of this kingdom to you.
Kingdom Hearts. Ugh. Guess that was the first act? Or are they gonna actually make me fight stuff? I'm curious. Because the reason why I'm saying that is when it comes to character story quests, you don't really do a whole lot. It's just listen to them talk. Sometimes you do things, but not always. I don't know, there's some character story quests where I really like them, and there's others where I'm just like, oh god. Like, it's kind of like boring. Like, Ayato's was boring when I did it. I thought it was going to have more to it, and it didn't.
There are currently 2 problems in the kingdom that need solving, right?
Why did she say it like that? Like, need solving, right?
Exactly. We need to defeat the monsters outside the city and take down the evil sorcerer stirring up trouble from within.
But which problem should we tackle first?
We can do both. Since Lenny is a stealth character, we can send him inside the city to defeat with those others, and then we can go outside to fight the problem outside. We can kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Well, this seems like a good moment for a break. Take some time and discuss what you want to do. Let me know when you've made your decision.
I really didn't expect the people in the city to keep us at arm's length like that. I totally thought the hunters would be treated like heroes.
Well, Clorinde said the script took cues from the real history of Fontaine, right? Maybe the real-life Marashose hunters were also treated like that.
I wouldn't say it's a perfect representation of history, but there are definitely some similarities. Would you like to hear more about it?
She's like the personification of an Oceanid. Look at her fucking eyes.
Sure. As long as it doesn't spoil anything in the script. You brought up bits and pieces of the hunter's history before, but it was all in passing.
That's actually not a joke, because if you played the main story quest, all of the Fontanians are actually Oceanids. They really all are. That's why when they touched the primordial sea, they would dissolve, because that's what they were made of. They only got real blood when Nebula used the water to cleanse them and forgive them and turned them into real people with the rain. So they're all real people now, but previously they really were Oceanids. I wonder if that's why she looks like that, but then again, it's probably just a style choice.
Paimon wants to know too! The hunters were super powerful, right? Were they all from a special line of supernatural beings or something? Kind of like the yokai in Inazuma?
The way they spell yokai, that's really how you say it, but the U is actually is gone, and they put like abbreviation over the O. That's how it's really supposed to be spelled, but it's whatever.
No. All Marashose hunters were ordinary mortal fighters. The only thing that set them apart were the special sword techniques passed down over the centuries.
Huh? So you mean anyone could become a Marashose hunter?
Yes, even the eel in the sea over there.
In theory, yes. All you would need to do is survive the rigorous training and master the swordsmanship techniques required to fight the monsters. Still, most people dropped out at the early stages, and others called it quits the minute they saw a monster in person. To become a hunter, you must be strong in both body and mind.
What kind